Hey guys, city building simulators have long moved beyond the usual megacities like SimCity. Many of these games focus not only on construction, but also on survival, diplomacy, economic management, and even battles. In this video, I'll tell you about the best city building games that everyone should try, even if you've never paid attention to this genre before. I want to start with Laysara. Summit Kingdom invites you to take control of a people forced to settle on the slopes of a massive mountain. You'll need to carefully plan the placement of residential and industrial buildings on narrow terraces connected by steep paths. Every structure requires you to consider vertical positioning. At the core of Laysara is a logistics and resource management system. You'll have to build trade routes between the different settlement levels and ensure a steady flow of food, lumber, and valuable mountain ores. Anno 1800 takes you to the age of the Industrial Revolution, where your goal is to build a thriving city fueled by scientific discovery and technological progress. You'll establish trade routes, explore new lands, and uncover valuable resources that help your metropolis grow. But as your city expands, new challenges arise, from political conflicts to internal unrest. As the ruler, you can choose to be a diplomat or a tyrant, experimenting with different strategies to achieve fame and fortune in an industrializing world. Tropico 6 puts you in charge of a tropical island nation in the Caribbean. Managing the islands is a mix of city building and political strategy. You'll lay roads and bridges, develop residential zones, and build industrial areas and tourist attractions. Each new map offers unique terrain and resource sets. The political aspect features factions and elections. You'll need to balance relationships with the military, business leaders, intellectuals, and the church. Your decisions on taxes, foreign trade, and social programs will affect both public loyalty and your chances of re-election. To strengthen the economy, you can sign trade agreements, export goods, and import scarce resources. Tropico 6 spans 4 technological eras, from colonial times to late industrialization, each unlocking new buildings, vehicles, and infrastructure projects. Dawn of Man is a captivating blend of strategy and survival that lets you dive into the life of early civilizations. The game begins with a small prehistoric settlement, which gradually expands as your society develops and faces new challenges. The focus is on the evolution of food production. In the early game, you'll rely on hunting and gathering, but over time, farming becomes more efficient and essential for survival. This progression requires smart resource management and long-term planning. Changing seasons play a crucial role. In winter, you'll need to rely on stockpiled supplies, as food becomes harder to access. But harsh weather isn't your only concern. Wild animals and hostile tribes also pose threats, adding tension and forcing you to think carefully about defending your settlement. Frostpunk takes you to a frozen Britain consumed by an icy storm, where a massive steam-powered generator becomes the heart of civilization. Your task is to design and build a city around it, placing housing, production buildings, and storage facilities in a way that keeps everyone within the heat zone and able to access vital resources. Resource management in Frostpunk means constantly balancing the supply of coal, wood, steel, and food. You'll assign work shifts, set construction priorities, and manage building temperatures to reduce illness risks. Sending out scouting teams to distant areas can uncover new materials and survivors, but each expedition demands careful planning and risk assessment. The game also explores social dynamics through lawmaking and moral choices. You'll pass decrees that define citizens' rights and duties and decide which reforms to implement, from expanding child shelters to enforcing strict labor laws. Pioneers of Pagonia takes you to an archipelago made up of diverse islands, each with unique cultures and ecosystems. As the leader of one tribe, you'll guide your settlement's development on your home island, lead your people toward progress, and eventually push beyond the island's borders to explore nearby lands and expand your influence. Other tribes react differently. Some are open to trade, while others resist your expansion. You'll send pioneer settlers to new territories, organize resource extraction, and build a logistics network to transport goods between building colonies and maintain a steady flow of materials. The main gameplay focuses on economy and managing production chains, with no combat mechanics involved. Fabledom lets you build a fairy tale kingdom from scratch, taking care of your people and meeting their daily needs. You'll start by clearing land, building lumber mills and fields, and setting up houses and essential services. As your town grows, you'll expand into workshops, market stalls, and cultural buildings. Beyond classic city-building tasks, Fabledom emphasizes diplomacy. You'll negotiate with neighboring kingdoms, forge alliances, or go to war, shaping your kingdom's security and influence. The military side involves recruiting and training troops, as well as crafting strategies to defend your borders or conquer new lands. Kingdoms and Castles is a medieval city-building game with a bright, minimalist art style. You'll go from managing a tiny village to ruling a sprawling medieval city, complete with a grand castle at its center. You need to care for your citizens and expand living space for future generations and incoming settlers. Plan resources carefully and prepare for the changing seasons. And don't forget, the medieval world is dangerous. Your city may face sudden and unpleasant events, barbarian raids, outbreaks of plague, packs of wolves, or even a fire-breathing dragon. Cities, Skylines, puts you in the mayor's seat, starting with a coastal plot of land and a modest budget. You'll build roads, zone residential, commercial, and industrial areas, and gradually develop infrastructure, water, power, healthcare, and education. Every decision impacts your city's budget and residents' quality of life. Transportation is one of the game's core mechanics. You'll set up bus lines, trams, subways, and cargo routes to reduce traffic and keep goods moving. Road planning involves interchanges, one-way streets, and dedicated lanes, giving you the tools to adapt your network as your city and industry grow. Timberborn is a city-building simulator where you manage a colony of beavers who begin rebuilding civilization in a post-apocalyptic valley after the fall of humanity. In a world plagued by constant droughts, your main challenge is securing water and carefully planning your resources and infrastructure. You'll need to focus on agriculture, construct vertical cities, and research new technologies to ensure your beavers survive. The game features 2 factions, each with its own unique traits and gameplay style, adding variety and replayability. Despite still being in early access, Timberborn already offers a creative and engaging experience for fans of city-building games. Endzone 2 puts you in charge of a group of settlers in a post-apocalyptic world where available land is divided into zones that must be explored and unlocked. You start with a mobile shelter and vehicle, allowing you to scout nearby areas for wood, water, scrap metal, and other vital resources. Once you choose a zone, you build your first network of tents and temporary structures to give your people shelter and access to clean water. The core mechanic is resource distribution and trade between settlements. Within each zone, you'll need to plan for water collection, metal extraction, and farming on fertile ground. As your infrastructure grows, you'll also send exploration teams into ruins and abandoned buildings to search for rare items and knowledge points. These expeditions involve interacting with environmental obstacles using tools, which unlocks new building types and technologies. Surviving Mars is a game about colonizing the Red Planet, where you take on the role of a mission leader. At the heart of the game is not only building and survival, but also a series of intriguing storylines that gradually unfold as your colony grows. These scenarios range from discovering alien artifacts to battling malfunctioning AIs. Every choice you make has consequences and can directly impact the mission's outcome. The game's unique storytelling blends random events with carefully crafted plot twists, creating a one-of-a-kind experience. Your colony's success depends on many factors: efficient resource management, scientific research, maintaining colonists' mental health, and building the right infrastructure. Frozenheim puts you in the role of a Viking chieftain, founding your settlement across snowy plains and steep fjords. The first step is choosing a strategic building site near forests for lumber or rivers for fishing huts and fresh water. You'll gradually build homes for your people, forges for metalwork, and warehouses to store food and supplies. Resource management is based on production chains. Logging provides planks for construction, hunting and fishing supply food, and mining with smelting grants access to tools and weapons. As your clan grows, so do its needs, so balancing hunters, lumberjacks, and craftsmen is essential for keeping the stockpiles steady year-round. The gameplay also includes missions and combat, where you'll defend your land from wild tribes and hostile factions. Kingdoms Reborn is a medieval city builder that's already proven its potential, even in early access. With stunning visuals and a seamless open world with no loading screens, it captures the attention of genre enthusiasts. Procedurally generated maps bring variety and uniqueness to every playthrough, while the deep citizen simulation introduces complex social and economic challenges. You can play through different eras, each with its own traits, including unique factions that dramatically change your playstyle. Foundation. We're back in the Middle Ages, trying to build an entire kingdom from scratch on beautiful, untouched meadows. Foundation is another standout in the city-building genre, offering not just construction but a thoughtful approach to sustainability and the idea that resources aren't infinite. One of Foundation's best features is its powerful building tools. You're not just a city planner, you're also the architect. You can design custom structures that, if not wonders of the world, at least rival real-life landmarks. These creations can be shared with other players, and you can also download theirs to enhance your own game. Surviving the Aftermath drops you into a procedurally generated wasteland where your task is to build a colony of survivors and keep it going long-term. You'll need to scavenge scrap metal, gather fuel, cut down trees, and grow crops. Once your economy is running, you'll set up transport routes between storage areas and production buildings to reduce downtime and improve efficiency. Exploring the surrounding area and interacting with other settlements adds a dynamic layer to the gameplay. You'll send scout teams into dangerous zones in search of rare resources and trade opportunities. Constant threats like natural disasters, marauders, and wild animals force you to prepare defensive structures and train units capable of protecting your colony. Dystopika. There's nothing quite like Dystopika out there right now. This sandbox game is all about building massive cyberpunk cityscapes, reminiscent of Cyberpunk 2077 or Blade Runner. As you place buildings, you can adjust their height. Tall towers grow into monolithic skyscrapers, while smaller ones automatically cluster around them. Billboards and neon signs can be carefully positioned or scattered like stars throughout the lower city using a special tool. As your city grows, more decorative elements become available, and the latest update has added even more tools to enhance your designs. Banished is a survival-focused city builder where you guide a group of exiles trying to create a new life on uncharted land. Unlike most games in the genre, Banished focuses on people as your primary resource. There's no money or taxation. Your economy runs on labor, food, materials, and time. You start small, just a few families, some tools, food, and clothes. Your first task is building shelter and securing food. Forests, rivers, and seasonal changes all affect your success. You'll need to plan around the seasons. Plant in spring, harvest in fall, and stockpile fuel and clothes before winter, or your settlers might not survive. A key feature is the flexible job system. Any citizen can be assigned as a builder, hunter, miner, farmer, or teacher, as long as you provide a workplace and tools. Farthest Frontier is a deep and richly detailed city-building simulator where you lead a group of pioneers trying to build a thriving settlement in untamed lands. The game stands out for its historical realism, life simulation, and meticulous representation of medieval daily life. One of its defining features is the food spoilage system. You can't just hoard supplies. Farming and storage must be carefully managed. Agriculture is not a plant-and-forget mechanic, but a full system based on soil fertility, crop rotation, and maintenance. The production chains are impressively complex. Over 50 buildings, around 15 types of raw materials, and more than 30 processed goods. The game doesn't forgive mistakes. Epidemics, starvation, harsh winters, and raider attacks can devastate your town. Even small missteps can have serious consequences. Manor Lords is a realistic medieval lord simulator that combines city building, resource management, and tactical battles. You start with a small village and grow it into a thriving town, managing everything from building placement to tax policies and logistics. The game emphasizes historical authenticity. Its economy, architecture, and land systems are inspired by 14th century Europe. Your townspeople work in real time, and the success of your settlement depends on how well you manage production chains and stockpiles. Beyond city building, you'll also need to raise an army and defend your land from enemy invasions. The city-building genre has become richer and more complex. It's no longer just about construction for its own sake. You'll face harsh conditions, tough decisions, and true tests of your management skills. Each game in this list is its own unique story, one where you play the central role. The Image Game channel was with you. Have a nice day.